Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Division Two matchup here between Duke and Northeastern. This is a rescheduled round 5 matchup here in the spring 2023 season. My name is Joe, and I'm the commissioner of the Collegiate Chess League, and let's dive into these games here. All right, so as you can see, we actually already have a result. We've got Voiceless Feather beating White Hat, so that's a point for the Duke team. Here's Ishan, also from Duke, taking on Ricky, who might be the top board for Northeastern. Um, so, all right, let's give a point to Voiceless Feather. That's Zubin Baliga from Duke. And looks like we've got 3 other games here. This is round 1. And yeah, it looks like we have an updated feature. This is the first time I'm seeing that the platform is allowing for the rounds to be played in order of strength, which is pretty cool. Ricky is the top board from Northeastern, SIBO. And so playing the bottom board from Duke, Ishan, this is definitely a favorable matchup from Northeastern, and you can see it looks like black is definitely favored here, up material as well. So let's see. White has the bishop pair and a knight, but is down in exchange. And the queen attacking the bishop right there. Now the queen's continuing to harass these pieces. What is the follow-up here, though? What is black threatening? Is black threatening anything? Not sure, but trades are definitely favorable. And these pieces seem a little tied down right now. Queen is defended, the bishop's defended twice. This bishop's defended once, but if the bishop moves, the queens can trade, so that would be good for Ricky. What else is going on? This queen moves, so maybe now there's space for the rook to get involved, or maybe the rook's to double and to try to trade off that last rook. So this is looking good for Northeastern. Let's check in on Super Hot Daniel versus Tugama. This is Jeff Dew from Duke with the black pieces. Looks to be doing very well against Daniel. Daniel with the king on f1 is in check right now, and that seems to be a fork. So the queen was attacking both the king and the knight. So we see one knight block the check, allowing to save the other knight. But it looks like black is simply just up a knight and maybe going to be up even more. Knight g6, not only attacking the pinned piece, but also clearing the way for this pawn to advance. So we see white plays queen to f3, trying to help block. We see the rook coming over, adding more pressure on this f-file. Is this threatening to win a piece just yet? It is defended twice, but it is attacked 3 times and can be attacked even more. Knight here as well. Yeah, we just have resignation. So Daniel goes down to Jeff. Big point there for Duke, adding on to their lead. Looks like Ricky did end up winning for Northeastern, so that's a point for them for their top board. We have 1 game left here. This is top board from Duke against bottom board from Northeastern. So Duke definitely the favorite to win this one as well. And so they will have a 3-1 lead going into the second round, assuming that this position holds for Panda Master. That is Kevin Wang. All right, so what exactly is going on here? White is pushing this pawn, attacking the bishop. Where is the bishop going to go? Well, there's bishop to c4. That looks like one of the only good moves. Bishop c7 is another idea, attacking the queen, but bishop c4 makes a lot of sense. The bishop can find a new home here. So yeah, bishop's hit yet again, and we do see the bishop rerouting to d5. This is a safe square for the bishop to be on. Notice white has an isolated d pawn, and what that means is that there's no c or e pawns that can kick this bishop out. All right, so We see the knight diving into e5. That comes with tempo against not only the queen, but the pawn on c6 as well. Now, the pawn is defended by both queen and bishop, but black could very easily just snip off this knight. This would help white's pawn structure, and it also helps trade down. We have opposite color bishops now. Black previously had the bishop pair, so a queen move potentially made sense in that position, but looks like Kevin didn't want to have to deal with rerouting the queen. Instead, just opts to trade and castle, connecting the rooks, finishing development. White, meanwhile, very well could castle if they'd like. The G pawn is hanging right now, by the way. Castling looks like there is a tactic. Bishop takes G2, and that's opening up a discovery on this lone bishop on D2, but yeah, that also pins the rook. I was going to say maybe white gets the pawn back at the end, but no. We do see Kevin goes for this. Rook D1 could be a logical response here. But yeah, up 2 pawns now for Kevin over Altiram. That is Ahmed. So we just see the king recapture, and now the queen takes. Queen over, so unpinning the rook and attacking the c pawn. The queen can come over with check, but the king might want to go to h1 anyways, putting the rook on the open g file opposite both queen and king. Notice Kevin's actually pretty low on time here, less than a minute compared to Ahmed's 3 minutes. Instead, we see queen to d5. The king moves, so white does not want to trade and help black's structure. Notice that would give black a connected pass pawn. Instead, we see the king simply retreat, and now this pawn is hanging. Here, there's queen takes c6 now. So white's getting a pawn back. Okay, the e pawn falls. So that's actually a fair trade. This king's susceptible to checks. Black susceptible to back rank mates. It's just queen and rooks. And black maintaining a 2-pawn advantage. White triples up on the c file. Flight square made for black. The increment is definitely going to help Kevin here. Rook to the g file opposite the king. Less than 10 seconds. Less than 5 seconds now. Both rooks active for Kevin. Two and a half minutes for Ahmed. All right, rook's infiltrating. Threatening mate in 2, by the way. 1, 2. Rook defending. Queen offering a trade, defending everything. Queen threatening mate. Hold on, there's rook takes. Rook takes g7 was one idea there. Potentially missed. This game is not over yet. There's a check, there's a rook block. The pawn wants to push here. This is a big threat. Oh my goodness. Queen f7 followed by queen h5. A huge blunder from Kevin in time pressure. This is exactly what Northeastern needs. If they can pull off a win here, they'll tie the round. Rook check. Wait, oh, it was a pin. It was a pin. Wow. Queen check, rook block. Uh-oh. Queen here. Oh, but then you get mated. There's mate in 1. And you have 2 minutes to find it. Come on, Ahmed. Come on. You can do it. I guess, wait, what did you need from here? Wow. What a crazy time scramble. And Ahmed ties things up for Northeastern. So it's 2-2. Big upset. That's a board 4 beating a board 1 for Northeastern. Huge result. All right, round 2 underway. We got White Hat versus Ishan. This is board 3 from Northeastern versus board 4. So round 2 underway. Looks like both sides of fianchettoed both bishops. White opening up the light square bishop here, offering a knight trade and putting pressure on c6. So the knight trades, pawn takes, opening the d file where the queen is. So white's going to be incentivized to put a rook there, but the queen utilizes the d file, putting pressure on this bishop. Let's check on some of the other boards. Bishop comes to a3. Now black has doubled on the d file, so there's no time for rook d1. Although there is time for bishop d6, but you have to watch out for rook takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Maybe that's good for white. You get a pass pawn. But no, just playing h4. Kind of a passing move. Asking black what their plan is, what they want to do. Let's check on Ricky versus Voiceless. So Ricky got upset or no, actually Ricky won the first round. And so did Voiceless Feather. That's Zubin. So Ricky definitely the favorite on this one. Who lost that last game against Ahmed? Was that Ricky? I have the no, Ahmed beat Kevin. Okay, my bad. I was getting the two top boards mixed up. They're both national masters, Ricky and Kevin. So Kevin's playing against Daniel. They both lost in the last round. Kevin's already castled here. Kind of awkward position for Daniel. Queen going to b8, back to d8. Hasn't castled yet. Behind development for sure. Oh man, computer likes bishop b6, and it's been played. This is threatening knight takes on g3, not only winning a pawn, but forking queen and rook. It's kind of awkward to deal with. King steps up, so doesn't want to deal with that. You have to be considering sacrifices on h4. This knight is a very key defender. So if the knight were to move, knight takes, queen takes is very powerful, lining up queen and rook on the open h file. So perhaps a reason why black hasn't castled kingside, they're utilizing the rook on the h file. All right, queen e7, maybe getting ready to castle long. We've got Jeff versus Ahmed. So we saw Ahmed with the crazy upset win over Kevin in that first round. But now playing against Jeff. Jeff with the white pieces as well. About 400 rating point advantage, but we saw that didn't matter in Ahmed's last game. Both sides of castle kingside. White's getting rid of this isolated pawn. And the bishop was hit. Now white can take on f7 with check, and does so. Now rook takes back. You can trade queens. You can also pin the rook. Queen b3 is one idea. Me personally, I like leaving queens on the board. Queen b3 was played. Now you can put a rook on the d file with tempo. Rook a d1, for example. One move. One good move for Ahmed, though, after this bishop b7 is that now Ahmed is controlling the d5 square, supported by both knight, bishop, and queen. So bishop there would be very, very strong for black because it breaks the pin on the rook. Here we have white sacrificing. You can take on f7. So we do see this bishop d5 idea that I mentioned. Black does not accept the knight sacrifice, as the other knight would have just recaptured. More pressure on f7. That also opens up the long diagonal, so the bishops would be staring. White's bishop's defended. Black's is not. So we see bishop to d5 here as a potential defense, but the problem with this move is, as Jeff has played, knight takes on f7. Go ahead, take my queen. I will take yours. So best at this point, probably bishop takes back on f7. But the damage has been done. White's with the better tactics, better position. King takes, luring the king out further. Let's check in on Ricky versus Voiceless Feather. Okay, white looks crushing here. Let's see how this happened. Just a pawn storm. A bishop sacrifice. Queen takes on f7. Pawn check. King back. Bishop takes. Knight here. A sacrifice. But the point is that it opens up the queen's attack of the bishop. So if pawn takes back, you can take the bishop. But this pawn on g6 and this king in the corner, it's just such a good position for white. So even though black is going to take on e7 and win that piece back, the damage is done. Black's king is just way too exposed. Semi-open h-file. Rook going to come to the f-file. Low time as well for the voiceless feather. So Ricky looking to go 2 for 2 here to start. Actually, black doesn't even take on e7. So going this way instead. I am surprised by this. I think white should castle queenside. And they do that. Best move apparently was rook f1. Kind of crazy. But okay, this is a discovery on the rook. The rook probably wants to go to f1 anyways. Why does the rook want to go to f1? Well, you want to block the f file. You want the queen to get to the h file, ideally. Capture, and black captures back. Now the queen is hit. There's no checks for this queen, unfortunately. But it does put the knight in an awkward situation. Both the knight and the rook are hanging, and the bishop as well now. But rook takes on d4, sacrificing the rook and the bishop, but allowing for... Oh, rook h4 is stopped because the queen takes on e7, defending h4. A nice find from black, but for how long? Wow, bishop takes h1 was a move. Oh my god. Queen g6 was missed. Queen block. No, rook takes, and now queen f7. Wow. This was a roller coaster of a game at the end there. Ricky gets the win, but it was very, very lopsided. Back and forth, I should say. It looked like white was just crushing the whole way through, but definitely a couple blunders there allowed for Zubin to have a chance back into the game, but those chances were missed in time pressure. So Ricky continues 2 for 2. Wow, and just like that, all the games are actually already done. Jeff gets a point, so Jeff is 2 for 2. Panda Master beats Daniel, so that's Kevin's first point after their first round upset. White Hat beats Ishan, so that is a point for Suraj. All right. Yeah, I missed a lot of action, but that was a fun game. Aline Rain, thanks for the follow, welcome, and thanks for joining the Discord. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. If you're just now tuning in, this is Duke versus Northeastern. We just finished watching round 2. So they're halfway done through the match, and it's still tied up 4-4. So there are 2 rounds remaining. Yeah, we're going to see the top boards versus the top boards and the bottom boards versus the bottom boards. Yeah, both Ricky and Jeff are perfect so far, and they should be playing each other in this next game. Well, here we've got Zubin versus Ahmed. We have an early queen trade. White can't castle. Bishop e2. Trade of bishop for knight to play the move e5. Ahmed playing this quickly and confidently. Perhaps has been here before. All right, here we go. Ricky versus Jeff. Both these players are unbeaten so far. Who will remain unbeaten? Ricky's the favorite. 100+ rating point advantage. plus is titled and has the white pieces. So it looks like we have a Dutch defense by Jeff, looking to castle for both sides king side. Fianchetto bishop on the king side. Let's see. Yep, white castles, and now black will continue with their development. Starting with c6. That's potentially helping support a d5 pawn push at some point, maybe. It does take away the c6 square from the knight, but the knight will probably go to d7 at some point. So white definitely has a bit more space. Rook to e1, preparing for the move e4. Further clamping down on d5. Knight h5 play. This opens up the bishop. What else? Are we trying to support for an f4 pawn break? e4 is in. Black decides to go for f4. So white's got that strong center. But black's definitely trying to stir up some trouble on the king side. White responds with e5, ignoring the threat on e4, just taking more space in the center, trying to open up lines. Black brings the knight out to a6, leaving the bishop's view open. But the knight on a6 doesn't look like it has a lot of perspective moves. Maybe knight to c7. All right, e6. That pawn is in deep, holding back the e pawn for black. It's very annoying. However, when you push pawns like that, they can become weak. So this pawn's only supported by the rook on the e file. Jeff's light square bishop is attacking it, but only one attacker. So can black add on more later? We'll see. Maybe like rook f6 is one idea. Can white solidify that pawn with the move d5? I think so. We see black initially taking on g3 first. White takes back. So the f file is now opened for Jeff's rook. And here we see Jeff playing the move d5 themselves, preventing white from doing that. Keeping this d4 pawn here in the center. Capture on d5. Okay, so we do see the knight go back to c7, putting more pressure on e6. White puts a knight on g5, maybe eyeing up f7. That could be annoying. But definitely just giving more support over the e6 pawn. It is attacked twice by black. It is defended twice. Computer likes to move bishop to f3, going after the knight, and perhaps clearing the way for the bishop to come here. So just like the e6 pawn is overextended and weak, not able to be defended by other pawns, so too is the d5 pawn. Because this e6 pawn has pushed enough that the e pawn cannot connect with the d pawn. Let's check on some of the other games here. We've got Ishan versus Daniel. And it's fairly even. It's a knight versus a bishop. Probably a better knight than bishop, but the bishop could very easily go back to c8 and definitely lead an attack on Ishan's king. So rook f4 hitting the queen. Queen steps back. And now black has doubled. So this is looking good for Daniel over Ishan. Ishan and Daniel both at 0 points. Only 2 players from both teams to not get any points yet. So this is definitely a huge round for them. This is round 3, still tied up at 4 apiece. So every point matters at this point. Rook e1 played. Let's see. Probably Ishan wants to play like rook e4. Definitely wants to trade down. Ishan does, because there's a lot of pressure on white right now. All right, how's Zubin doing against Ahmed? Zubin's doing well. Both players have 1 point each. Ahmed had a big win in the first round against Kevin. But it looks like Zubin's definitely the favorite here. Up an exchange and a pawn. So it's a significant difference. Black does have 2 knights that are being awkward, both on the edge. One's attacking the b pawn. A pawn sacrifice here, perhaps. Takes. Bishop hitting both knights. Knights move back to defend. So black gets a pawn back, but gonna be hard to defend the b pawn, right? The knights can't really defend it. You could push it, but then white will just take it. So getting the pawn back, I don't think you can save this thing. Low time for Zubin. So we've seen Ahmed bring it back in time pressure. Can they do it again? Anything's possible. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. All right, how's White Hat doing against Kevin? Kevin's definitely the favorite. Kevin's always going to be the favorite until the 4th round when they play Ricky. All right, giving up the light squared bishop. Well, trading it. And now black's king maybe is a little exposed. But white takes back with a knight, not with a queen, with check. King steps up for both sides, looking to use that open H file. Knight goes to d3, but I don't know where the knight wants to go beyond that. Maybe e1, but hard to tell. You don't really want to go to e5, do you? Maybe later. Alright, rook h1 played. Does black follow suit with rook h8? Yes, they do. Both sides now, just under 2 minutes. Rook hits the queen. Queen steps aside. Maybe now you can play knight e5. Who knows? I like this move, pinning the knight to the king. Knight e5 is just going to be a strong move at some point. I can feel it. Because if pawn takes, and you're threatening to play e6 fork. So, and now here knight e5 is a fork. King steps up, kind of a peculiar move. You're very susceptible to these kinds of checks. Luckily, the knight's covering this. All right, we have a result. Daniel beat Ishan. Here, we're about to get a result. So Daniel gets their first point of the match. Zubin gets their second, tying things back up at 5. These two teams are neck and neck here. We've got 2 games left. Ricky versus Jeff. Again, neither player has lost yet. Both players less than 30 seconds. Favoring Ricky here. Yeah, queen versus rook. Resigns. So Ricky continuing. Perfect 3 for 3. With only 1 player left to play, and it's Kevin. Speaking of Kevin, Kevin should be winning here. Starting with the old bishop check. Alright, so let's see. Both players about a minute. Take here, hitting the queen. Bishop h5, best move. So the king's in check. The king's going to move. We can sack the rook for the knight. So our queen's no longer hit, and theirs is still hit. So they have to react to our threat, and then we save our rook. Nice tactic here from White Hat, taking down Panda Master. Well, assuming, yeah, rook e4 has been played. Pawn takes, now bishop takes f7. Surely. Only other move to contemplate is e6 with check, but that allows for queen f6. You don't want to do that. You want to just take the queen. Take while you can, and then play e6. I mean, you'd be just completely crushing. There it is. So White Hat, I mean, Kevin's getting upset left and right. What's going on, Kevin? 1 game out of 3. Not the best. Queen in, I like this move a lot. You're just threatening the knight. I guess knight f7. Knight not played the f7. And now you have queen g6 check. But how are they to know? There's 1 check. King steps up even more. You can trade the rooks. Or you can play rook e1. Right? Trade of rooks. This isn't really easy, I'd say. This is still two minor pieces for the queen. Black's going to try to make a fortress, but unfortunately is losing the queen to a pin. King steps out of the pin, but the knight is too late. Gets gobbled up by the queen. Low time, though, for both sides. Hello, Naveen. How are you? Oh, man. All right, so it's 5-6, and looks like Duke is going to actually lose this one. White Hat is going to get a big point for Northeastern. Assuming no miracle happens, you can sack the queen. Yes. and resigns. I am tired. I don't know why. All right, so White Hat gets a point. And that's a 2-point lead for Northeastern, actually, which is pretty big. Going into the fourth and final round. 5-7. Northeastern only needs 1.5 points to win. Duke is going to need 3 points just to tie it. 3-1. So they need 3.5 or more to win. That's a tough task. All right, fourth and final round underway. And we've got the two national masters going at it. This is a big point here on the line for the two top boards. Kevin's been struggling all match. 2 losses, only 1 win. Ricky, though, perfect 3 for 3. Can Ricky sweep the Duke team? Or can Kevin get a big point back for them? All right, castles for Ricky. Ricky trying to defend that pawn. We might have opposite side castles here. Kevin can castle either which way. So we'll see. Meanwhile, we've got Daniel versus Zubin. Zubin's the rating favorite here and also a point favorite. They have 2 points. Daniel only has 1. Here we've got Jeff versus White Hat. We just saw Suraj beat Kevin. So can Jeff get revenge? Jeff's only loss is to Ricky so far. So both these players are at 2 out of 3, which is pretty good. A plus score. We are missing the 4th game though. I don't see Ishan versus Ahmed. That is a big game. So remember, Northeastern only needs 1.5 points to win this match. Duke needs 3.5 to win, or 3 to tie. Lots of tension here. Both sides have castled. We've got completely symmetrical king sides. Knights offering a trade. You don't want to take with a knight because then pawn takes back and you get forked. Not ideal. You could do bishop takes, but you don't necessarily want to give up that bishop. So yeah, probably ignoring it is best. Pawn takes pawn. Pawn takes back. All right, I see Ishan versus Ahmed now. Both players 1900. Only 10 rating point differentiating them. Ishan, the only player without any points left. They lost to Daniel in the previous round. Now they're playing against Ahmed. So this is Ishan's best and last opportunity to get on the board here. Hello, Subham. How are you? Good to see you. Ahmed castles. So does Black. But, ooh, see, look at the eval slowly creeping up here. White is in a fantastic position here. I wonder if knight takes on e5 was the thing. Here, castles, and yeah, knight takes e5, an opportunity missed from Ishan, but takes advantage of this pen now that the king is castled and there's no f-pawn. This pawn's pinned, so it's not defended. Knight takes, and you have a fork on the queen and the bishop. But Black's instead castles, and now we see queen to g3. And Black pushes a pawn in front of their king. Bishop goes into h6, hitting the rook. Rook probably going to go to e8. Midterms next week. Best of luck. We've got midterms and we've got CCL playoffs coming up. We've got March Madness, Chess Madness. I don't know if you've seen Chess Madness, but Ishan sacking the exchange. And now white, oh, that's a free bishop on e6. The pawn is pinned. This could be resigns very soon. This is a very, very strong game from Ahmed and not good for the Duke team. So Ishan's going to get swept. I don't see them coming back from this. So much time left on the clocks as well. Rook takes on f7 is incoming. The e-pawn is hanging, but that shouldn't bother anyone. Knight takes f7 probably is really good. Queen h4 maybe is an idea. It's just the top two. No. We have rook takes. This allows black to trade queens, but still very good for whites. The knight on d7 is hanging. Okay, so the knight hits the rook and the bishop. We could do rook takes on h7 is really strong. We could do rook takes on b7. Yeah, rook takes b7 is played. Now black can take on d3. So how does the playoffs work? Well, basically, each division has 16 teams. Here there's knight takes h7. Of those 16 teams, they're split into two groups of 8. So top 6 teams from each group make it to playoffs. Top 6. The top 2 make it straight to quarterfinals, which is round 2 of the playoffs. Round 1 is called the wild card weekend. So the top 6 teams qualify for that from each group. So it's the top 12 basically. Wow, computer really doesn't like this move. Wow, rook takes c7, knight takes c7. The move is c2. And black should be winning the exchange back. Wait, pawn push. That's not right. A knight d5 hitting the bishop. c2 was missed. So like if c2 now, knight takes, yes, the bishop's hanging, but you just promote. White has to give the bishop or the rook, and then your bishop takes and defends. But here and now the knight makes it to c2. You can take here with check. You come back. The pawn's covering the light squares. The knight's covering the dark squares. There's just no way to infiltrate with this setup. Pawn push. I mean, even still. So, and notice everything on light squares for white except this one pawn. But the bishop is going to be useless. So Ahmed wins by resignation. That puts Ahmed at 2 points out of 4. So beating the bottom board and the top board from Duke, but a good result from a board 4. And that puts Northeastern at 8 points. So they're not losing in regulation. Duke needs to sweep the remaining 3 just to force overtime. And I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see if Duke can prove me wrong now. Daniel, it seems, has a favorable position here, but is down a little bit of time. Computer likes rook takes. I don't think we'll see that, but there's also bishop takes, then rook takes. All right, so we see the bishop take. Bishop takes back. Now, does white pull the trigger and sack the rook? Yes, they do. Daniel busting out the moves against Zubin. Queen takes. So we have opposite side castles here, but white is bringing the heat. This is such a beautiful bishop for white. And white just wants to break through and deliver checkmate. All right. Let's check in on the top boards, the National Masters, Ricky versus Kevin. So Ricky's been perfect so far, 3 for 3. Kevin's been struggling, only 1 for 3. And we do see opposite side castles. And it looks like the knight has been taken, and now h7 falls. So black probably going to give up the queen for 2 rooks. We do see that. What is this move? Okay, takes, push, saves the bishop, rook up. So yeah, sometimes the rooks are better than the queen. Sometimes the queen's better than the rooks. And in this position, black's pieces are not very coordinated, right? Rooks work best when they're connected and working together. Here, the rooks are very separated. Have I ever played Go? I actually haven't. But I know Go, and I've seen it. Knight here looks pretty good. That was definitely missed by Ricky. Also seems to be missed by black as well. Takes here, you get forked. So don't fall for that trick. Bishop here, boxing out the knight. Interesting. Anyways. Yeah, Northeastern, they only need a draw in one of these 3 remaining games. And yeah, Duke needs to win out. How's Jeff doing against White Hat? Wow, Suraj is crushing. And is 2 out of 3, looking to go 3 out of 4, which is a pretty good score. So why is Suraj crushing? All right, up a knight here. That's a check, forcing off the queens. Rook takes. King has to move. And now the knight can save itself by going backwards. Can we push that e-pawn? E6? That's what I would try. I don't know what else to do. Less than a minute for Jeff. Yeah, this is just not looking good for Duke. This game looks like it's getting down to the wire here. Ooh, a swing and eval. So we saw the exchange sacrifice. Yes. From white. From Hot Daniel. Let's see. Knight takes bishop, queen in, queen over. Black taking some pawns. Push. Yeah, just dropping a lot of pawns here. Whoa, what is this? Bishop check. Rook takes. Queen check. No, you're just down a rook. There's nothing here. Wow, okay, so this is good for Duke. Unless they flag, which is possible, but okay. Duke just wins the queen. They win the game. So Voiceless Feather surviving, getting 3 out of 4 for Duke. This match is not over yet. Ricky should also lose. Very low on time here. King b2, just walk the king up. I mean, assuming this is a win for Duke, it all comes down to this game. And looks like the eval has come back to even. So White Hat was winning. And then what happened? So notice black is up a piece here, folks. Black is up a piece. Trade. Block. Check. White's just infiltrating now. But a draw wins for Northeastern as well, folks. Don't forget that. So there's 2 games remaining. Duke needs to win out on both to force overtime. Northeastern needs a draw. So this is a must win for Jeff. Both sides very low on time. There goes the H pawn. The bishop's hit. If the bishop moves, the B pawn's hit. King steps up to defend. King steps out of the pin. Now the bishop is pinned. King steps back up. And again, perpetual or repetition is good for black. That's all Northeastern needs. The A pawn is running. That's a check. You can block. This bishop's well placed. Maybe you move the king. King moves. This bishop has no legal moves. Rook steps back up, hitting the bishop. King steps up. Check. You can block. There's another check. That opens up the bishop. King steps up. Knight takes, threatening the bishop. Bishop here. Check. King back. There's another check. That's not a check. Bishop takes. This is looking better and better for black. Those were two huge pawns to drop. Rook coming after this pawn. There's a check. But now this is just crazy. Check here. You can't go backwards or here because that's just going to be mate. So the king has to go here. That's another pawn dropped. Another check. Very low time for Jeff. There's another pawn dropped. Yeah. The knight and the bishop just working too well together. Panda Master, Kevin wins for Duke, but it was not to be on this last board. Jeff gets beat by Suraj, who goes 3 out of 4 and wins the match for Northeastern. So final score 9-7. That was a close one. I counted out Duke early, but Zubin was able to get a win, and Kevin got a win as well. So Ricky couldn't complete the sweep of the Duke team, but didn't need to. Northeastern's bottom boards came up big. Ahmed and Suraj getting a lot of points. So yeah, congrats to Northeastern. Big dub. All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all. I'm going to head out, but we're going to raid someone, so stick around for that. Congratulations again to Northeastern for winning against Duke here in a round 5 reschedule match in Division 2 of the Collegiate Chess League Spring 2023 season. There's only one round remaining. We finished round 6 last weekend. This is technically a bye weekend, which is why I haven't been as active or streaming as much today. Yeah, I was available for this one last minute, decided to cover it. This is a close match, some strong players, strong teams. But yeah, playoff standings are huge. Only one round remaining, and then the playoffs will begin. So it's going to be a single elimination bracket for all 14 divisions. Only the top 12 teams per division make it. So the bottom 4 are eliminated. The top 2 from each group, they're going to automatically qualify for the quarterfinals. So they'll get a bye in the first week, which is pretty big. I think quarterfinals starts April 1st, which is also the same time as the Final 4, which is the top 4 teams from Pan Am's. I believe that's UTRGV, Webster, SLU, and Mizzou. So I plan on covering that, which is pretty exciting. And I believe 3 of those 4 teams are going to be playing in the CCL playoffs. So we'll have to reschedule some of that. I also know Duke will likely need to reschedule their playoff matches. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll have a lot of exciting college chess coming up in the next couple of weeks. And a lot of prize money on the line for the Collegiate Chess League playoffs, $30,000 in total just for this season alone. So, yeah, good luck to all the teams that have some matches remaining. And yeah, hopefully you guys all make playoffs. All right, I'm going to head out. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your Saturday. Take care.